I really struggle with the words, because we don't have the words in our culture. We don't have the words to say. You can say, I feel amazing, I feel great, I feel fantastic, but there's no real words that can describe this feeling of vitality and this feeling of bliss bubbling up in your cells. The closest I can get is to think about if you walk into a room and you can kind of sense the atmosphere in a room. So right now we're in a living room, it's really cozy, it's really relaxing. It seems like the kind of room you'd have lots of really good conversations in and feel really like you're having a really nice chilled evening, you know. Or you can go in another room and maybe you go in a library or a church and you feel like you've got to be really quiet and really serious. So I feel like if you're talking about atmospheres like that, the atmosphere in my body is like a party. It's like my cells are having a party, my cells are singing, they're having a party, they're dancing around because they feel so good all the time, they feel so vibrant and alive all the time. So that's what you're looking for, is to kind of get that kind of really exciting, really ecstatic relationship with your body. And when you do that, everything around you has to shift. It's the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, everything around you has to shift. Because if you start experiencing these levels of bliss and vitality, there's so much in your life that you're not going to put up with anymore. So many situations you're not going to tolerate. It might be relationships, it might be your family, it might be your work, it might be where you're living. But so many times I meet people who have gone raw, and within a year or two of going fully raw, they've left their partner, or they've changed their jobs, or they've made big positive life changes, because we grow up thinking it's so important to conform. It's so important for us as humans to belong to the tribe and be the same as everyone else. And we grow up thinking we have to do certain things to fit in with other people. And I still now, even though I've been on this path like 25 years, I still now all the time catch myself doing stuff. And I'm thinking, that's not me. That's not really what I want. That's not really my truth. But I'm doing that because I think that's what's going to make everyone else happy. And I think that is what I'm meant to do. So even when you're in a constant state of awareness about this stuff, it's so easy to just fall into patterns and be pleasing other people and not acting from our authentic truth. When you know that you're being the change, when you know that you're bringing your light and your radiance and your joy and your vitality into the world, then that negates all that, because that's the most powerful thing, is you know, well, I'm doing what I can and I'm making a difference and I'm making a positive difference in the world. And then you attract people to you who have that same kind of way of thinking and have that same kind of lifestyle. You can read lots of books, you can listen to lots of speakers, you can do lots of meditation practices, you can do lots of yoga practices, and all those things are really wonderful tools for helping us find that place, access that place of connection. But I don't think anything's as powerful as shifting your diet, because when you're eating this way, you have to shift. And if you don't want to shift, then you have to stop eating this way, because it's not possible to carry on eating this way and not to create these kind of dramatic but ultimately incredibly positive changes in your life. You know, I've had quite a lot of contrast in my life, and I've lived in very poor environments, very hard environments, and I've lived in very abundant environments, very rich environments, and I experienced a lot of that as a child. And I was really grateful for that, because it made me see that the people who lived in the big fancy houses weren't any happier than the people that were living on the council estates. And actually it's just about you and what you make out of things. So I think on a personal level, it really helps us just to find this happiness inside. And I know that whatever happens in the day, whatever the universe is going to throw at me, be it good or bad, I've got this feeling of solidity, this feeling of just joy in my body, and that's going to carry me through, and nothing can detract from that. I do my yoga. I'm really into my Bikram yoga. I like to do pranayama as when I get the time. I love that. I feel really, really wonderful if I can do like 10 minutes of pranayama, you know, alternate nostril breathing or Kapalabhati, you know, the kind of yogic breathing exercises. I love to do infrared saunas. I try and do them around a full moon, although I don't often manage it. Maybe I get in about 6 a year. What else do I do? I try and do my colonics and enemas regularly, and I feel that really helps keep me clear and calm as well. Try and get out into nature. That's one of the reasons I love travelling, because I get to see lots of beautiful locations and beaches and forests and all that kind of thing. So being in nature is obviously a great way to connect. Spending time with my kids, that's always really wonderful. Kids are so humbling. Kids are so naturally ecstatic. and being with my kids always just puts me, I love the fact that it doesn't matter what I've been doing, and I could have been doing a talk for 100 people and I get home and they don't care. They need you to be you. They need you to be you then and then. They don't care about who you think you are. They just want you to be you. I love dancing as well. I go out dancing a lot and I really love dancing, and I think a lot. I've actually written a book on club culture, although it's not been published yet, and I spend a lot of time thinking about club culture, and I think that's why I love dancing, because when you're dancing in a room full of people like that, again, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter who you think you are, what label you have on you in the day, but when you're in that dance environment, you're all just free, you're all just your bodies, you're all just humans together in a room, and I really love, that's probably my favourite release, is the dancing. So yoga, dancing, kids, and a bit of meditation now again, and the things that I practice and that really help keep me sane in this oftentimes crazy world. So I hope that's given you something to reflect on. There's a lot more of that kind of writing. If you go on the Bubble, there's a lot more of that kind of writing where I talk about all those kind of issues in more detail. But for me, this is the whole point of changing our diets, is to come into this place of connection and to create that sense of connection in the world, because that's why I started. I looked around and I saw this really disconnected world. As a teenager, I just thought the world was so messed up, and how could I put that right? How could I be a part of making something better? And I really believe, you've got the microcosm and the macrocosm, and what's going on inside of you is just the outside world is just reflecting what's going on inside of you. So if we can put it right within ourselves, then we're putting it right on a greater level as well.